Welcome to the Quicksilver Adventuring Company. Today, I'd like to continue a subclass discussion that I have on a couple other videos, and I'd like to actually introduce an Archer build 3 actually that I've made for different classes. We have a few options within the current book, but the Arcane Archer is more magical based, and then there are class abilities like archery and the subclass, or sorry, the feat sharpshooter. But what I did in this case is I went ahead and added one or created one for the Ranger, Fighter, and Rogue. And I'd like to go over them right now. One thing that you will find is that as you review the 3 subclasses, there is some overlap. I mean, they all are archers, so there are some abilities that are shared amongst all of them. But for the most part, it's unique, but you will see some shared content. First off, I'll go over the fighter variant I made. Level 3 ability is called Trick Shot, and you get a number of uses equal to your proficiency modifier. So level 1, you're going to have a proficiency modifier of 2, so you get 2 uses per day, and so on. As you level up, you get more uses. And the DC on these is equal to 8 plus your proficiency modifier plus your dex bonus. You have 4 shot options. There's disarming shot, blinding shot, I called it winged it, and then arrow to the knee. Let's take disarming shot. You hit and you do normal damage, but the target must roll a DC save against strength or dex, depending on what type of weapon they're using. If they're using a strength-based weapon, you roll against strength. If you're using dexterity, they roll dexterity. And then that allows them to hold on to the weapon if they pass. A dual wielder, the archer chooses which weapon they hit, and the target must roll. And if they fail, they are disarmed based on the archer's choice. Blinding shot. You hit and you do normal damage. The target must roll a dex save or have disadvantage in the next round of attacks. Winged it. You do normal damage, but the target must roll a DC dex save or fall up to 100 feet. If flying under 100 feet, it hits the ground and takes damage for the height fallen. Arrow to the knee. You do normal damage, but the target must roll a dex save or be half movement for the next 3 rounds. At level 7, you actually gain a couple abilities. 3 times per day, you may fire 2 to 3 arrows as a single shot. You can choose to hit the same target or multiple up to the number of arrows fired. Multiple targets must be in the same direction as you're firing. You must roll for each arrow, and your fumble chances equal the number of arrows fired. So if you fire 2 arrows, if any roll to hit is a 2 or less, you fumble or miss automatically. And if you have 3 arrows and you roll a 3 or less on any of the shots, then you fumble or auto miss. Your ranged weapon attacks also score a critical hit on a 19 or a 20. The level 10 ability, you gain a couple things here. You gain the sharpshooter feat, and also you have advantage on non-combat shots like launching a rope onto a roof or shooting an apple off someone's head. It's up to the DM's discretion as to whether or not what you're wanting to do qualifies as a trick shot and you get advantage on it, but it needs to be out of combat. The level 15 ability is more of a quick shot. As a reaction, you can try to shoot a thrown or missile weapon out of the air. You roll a hit against the targets to hit. If you are higher, you deflect the object from its target. For example, if whoever's throwing or shooting whatever the weapon is, rolls a 20 to hit total, and then you roll and you equal that or beat that, so you roll 20 or higher, then you have deflected the weapon. If they roll a 15 and you roll 15 or higher, you've deflected the weapon. And then you also may make a 1 ranged attack at the beginning of the first round of any combat, regardless of the initiative you roll. This does not count against the normal number of attacks you have on a round. This is just a bonus for the very first round of combat. Then at level 18, you get another improved critical. Your ranged weapon attacks now score a critical hit on 18 or 20. Anything that qualifies as a ranged weapon. Next, I'm going to go over the Ranger Archer subclass. And starting at level 3, I called that one Hunter. You gain advantage on range attacks against beasts. You know exactly where to hit game in order to down it quickly, and you do maximum weapon damage against beasts instead of rolling. Any add-on die rolls such as poison are still rolled, but this is for any beast, like be it a deer to an elephant, or anything classified as a beast. And then also you gain advantage on survival rolls to track in all environments. The level 7 ability I called Scout. You can launch a flare. You know how to turn an arrow into a signaling device that is either auditory or visual. It has the same range as the max range of the weapon used. Cannot be used as damage as the modified arrow removes the head. It acts as a light for 20-foot radius. Sound same as a blowing a whistle. So if I fire the light of 20-foot radius up into the air, several hundred feet, whatever the range is on the weapon, it can be seen for quite a while, but be up to the DM's discretion as to how far, depending on the circumstances and the environment, etc. You gain proficiency on stealth and survival, or if you're already proficient in it, you gain expertise in both. And then also 3 times per day, you may fire 2 to 3 arrows as a single shot. You can choose at the same target or multiple targets as a number of arrows fired. Multiple targets must be in the same direction that you are firing. And you roll for each arrow, and your fumble chances equal the number of arrows fired. So if you fire 2 arrows, then your fumble chance is 2 or less. If you fire 3 arrows, then your fumble chance for each arrow is 3 or less. And it's either that or an auto miss. I use fumbles in my game, but the level 11 ability I call Combatant. Your ranged weapon attack score a critical hit on 19 or 20. Then also you have advantage on attack rolls against your favored enemy. You gain the sharpshooter feat, and then you also gain evasion like a rogue. You can dodge out of the way of certain area effects, such as Red Dragon's Fiery Breath or an Ice Storm spell. When you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed on a saving throw and only half if you fail. At level 15, you gain the same ability that a fighter does, which is called Quick Shot. As a reaction, you can try to shoot a thrown or missile weapon out of the air. You roll against the attackers to hit, and if you are higher than or equal to that to hit, then you deflect the weapon. So if someone rolls a 20 and you roll a 20 or 21, you have deflected the weapon. If they roll a 15 and you roll a 15 or higher, you have deflected the weapon. Then also you may take 1 ranged attack at the beginning of the turn before any combat, regardless of the initiative you roll. This attack does not account against your number of attacks for that round. You still get your full action when your turn comes, but at the beginning of the combat, you get 1 free shot. And now for the rogue. The rogue subclass actually called the sniper. Rogues are going to be more sneaky and such, and ranged weapon, I went with sniper. The level 3 ability I called second story work. You gain advantage when striking with a ranged weapon from a higher elevation of at least 10 feet. You gain proficiency in stealth, and if you're already proficient, you gain expertise. Your climb speed equals your run speed. The level 9 ability I called prowess. Your ranged weapon attack score a critical hit on a 19 or 20. You gain the sharpshooter feat, and you gain advantage on perception checks involving sight. The level 13 ability I called sniper. You get to add your wisdom modifier to your attack roll if you spend at least 3 rounds watching your target without breaking stealth. If you spend at least 3 rounds watching your target without breaking stealth, you also score a critical hit on a 15 through 20. And you add 100 feet to the max range of your weapon. At level 17, you gain the same ability as the others, Quick Shot. As a reaction, you can try to shoot a thrown or missile weapon out of the air. You roll a hit against the attackers to hit, and if you equal it or roll higher than that, then you have deflected the weapon. So if someone rolls a total 20, and then you roll a 20 or higher, then you have deflected the weapon. If they roll a 15, and you then roll a 15 or higher, then you have deflected the weapon, and so on. And then you also may take a 1 ranged attack at the beginning of the first round of any combat, regardless of the initiative you roll. No matter what you've rolled, you get that 1 attack at the very beginning, and you get your full action when your turn comes around. I hope you found this information useful. I will leave a link in the description to PDFs for each of the subclass options. And I hope you like this. I hope you try it in your games. But thank you for watching. See you next time.